Now that we built out our header and nav bar and footer, we can now create the rest of our pages for our entire site. We haven't built out any of the styling for the content yet, but that's okay because the content for each of our 5 pages of our portfolio will be slightly different from each other. We will start designing our content for our index page first, but we want to go ahead and create these pages so we don't have to go back and delete content out of that section for our new pages. So to do that, we're going to simply do a little save as action and renaming our pages, and then we'll go in and build out our navigation menu so that it works correctly. So I have my index.html page open. I'm going to go up to File, Save As, and from here I'm going to change this from index, and we're just going to start with resume.html and click Save, and then do the same thing for all 5 pages. So my next page is going to be education plan. I used a hyphen there. Don't use a space. You can use an underscore if you'd like. And then the next page, File, Save As, is going to be the internship experience. Internship hyphen experience. EXPERIENCE. Hit save, and then last but not least, File, Save As, and this one is going to be our showcase page. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go back to our index page, and notice that every time we created or saved a new page, those popped up into our tabs up here in the Dreamweaver screen. So I'm going to click over to the index page here real quick, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to back off and delete some text here, some code, so that way I can get the code hint to pop up. That way I'm not making any spelling errors, and I don't have any broken links if I accidentally mistype something. So I'm just going to place my cursor right after that quotation mark on the other side of the hashtag and the resume link, hit delete until I get to that first quotation mark, and then type in a quotation mark, shift, and then you'll see the code hint pop up, and then I'm going to select browse, and I'm doing it this way so that that way I don't misspell anything and it gets entered in directly. So I'm going to do that for all 5 of these links. And keep going down. And then last but not least, showcase. Okay, so now I have to do this for all 5 of my pages, but to save time, what I'm going to do is copy and paste. So before I move forward, I'm going to hit Command S or Control S. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this little block of code right here. So where it starts from nav class, primary nav, I'm going to grab the front of that and then the closing tag of the nav, that nav text. So I'm going to hit Control C, Command C, and then now I'm just going to go to my other pages and copy and paste over that same block of code. So that way I don't have to retype those in or relink those, and it's just going to save me a lot of time. So and then each page I make sure I hit Command S or Control S just as I go along. And internship experience. Save over the top of those, and then showcase. Same deal. Okay, before we tune off on this tutorial, there's a couple things that I want to talk about. The first one is, let's go ahead and preview what this looks like real quick, just to double check. And we're going to preview in Chrome. And one of the things that we could address, and it's your call, I'll leave it up to you. I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. I'm looking at, and this is in our desktop view, and in fact I need to go to View, Developer Tools, and I'm in that laptop view. What I want to show you here is the navigation hamburger menu is in the very top right hand corner. It's padded right in here, so it's not slammed right into the edge, But some of you might be wondering if you can bring that out so it's a little bit more noticeable, so that it's not so tight in there, and it'll be a little bit easier for your users to find in the corner. I actually kind of like it the way it is, but if for those of you who are wondering how to adjust that, we're gonna take care of that right now. So I'm gonna tab back over, and notice that I'm in the showcase.html page. I don't need to switch back to index. All I need to do is go back to my style sheet, because that's where that padding value, that's where I'm going to change that padding value. And the style sheet, remember, is linked up to all five of these pages. I know that might be a review for some of you guys, but sometimes it's just good. So I'm going to click on Advanced Main here, and I'm looking for my primary navbar styles. And I haven't created a desktop media query for my navbar. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and grab this comment out real quick where it says mobile underneath primary navbar styles. And then under the very bottom where we have that toggle menu checked, menu off line, I'm going to hit the enter return key a couple of times and then paste that in there. And from there, I'm going to change that from mobile to desktop and hit the enter return key. Now I need to add the media query under desktop. So it's the @ media screen and parentheses minimum width 700 pixels, and then space, open up a curly brace, and hit the enter return key. Where you're going to target, we're actually going to target the primary nav wrap because it has all of our navigation piece in it. So we want to make sure that we're moving that whole entire thing. So we're going to grab primary nav wrap. We're going to select that from our code hint and then open up a curly brace. And then, so from here, we can change the margin on the top or even on the margin on the right. I'm just going to adjust the margin on the top. And so I could push this down a little bit. We could push it down like 10 pixels. We can push it down more than that. Just want you to be careful because when you start to scroll down on this page with our design, remember that our nav bar shrinks. And so if you push it down too much, that nav bar will disappear from when it shrinks. So we're going to go ahead and just do something really minimal. 10 pixels. Like I said, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. If you like the look of it and want to keep it the way it is, it's fine. But this is a way to maybe center your nav bar, that nav bar button, away from the top a little bit and bring it down more in the middle of that header. So we go ahead and preview this real quick. Make sure my changes took. And then go ahead and close these tabs and then get back into our developer screen. And so you notice that it did push it down a little bit. We can't check our scrolling feature yet because I don't have enough content in here. But when it does, you can imagine when it does shrink it, that'll fit, that smaller nav bar will fit right in there pretty nicely. Okay, so last but not least, before we sign off on this tutorial, I want to come back to our source code in HTML, and what I want to point out is actually I want to go back to the meta tag of our of this page. When we first started off with our index page, we created a description that was pretty generic for our entire site. This is a chance for you if you want to create unique descriptions for each one of your pages. It's a way that will help Google bots and search engines find your pages a little bit better based off of this description. So, and plus, like if you see that preview in a Google search bar, and it kind of shows you the subsequent pages of your site, it'll give the user or the person who's searching for your site a little different description of each of those pages. Not necessary, but it's just an option that you can change and personalize on your portfolio for each of your pages. Okay, so for me, okay, so for this segment, that about wraps it up. On our next piece, we are going to start building out the content for our homepage.